G'day everybody, Sam Marwood here from Cultivate Farms, and thank you for the invitation to present today. I apologise that I couldn't be there in person, but hopefully I'm going to give you some things that you probably haven't heard before, and get you all talking once I finish. So thank you again, and I'm really looking forward to outlining some positive options for next generation farmers who want to own a farm, and for retiring farmers who look to step back. So the business we run is called Cultivate Farms, and I'll click here and I'll go into a presentation. And it's all about the best owning farms in Australia. So we are all about making it possible for anyone to own a farm, and we do this through setting up relationships. We didn't want to set up a business like Tinder, that it's all about matchmaking, that is the cool thing to do at the moment. We just realised this is the best model to get anyone to become a farmer and own a farm. So our ideas are around aspiring farmers, investors and retiring farmers, and connecting them together. So we say we connect an aspiring farmer, retiring farmer and investor to own and operate a farm together. And we realise it is really about relationships. This is about getting people with the same values and aligned values and getting them around the table and having a discussion about transitioning ownership or investing into a piece of dirt. It is purely about those relationships, matchmaking, and from there they can get their advisors or whoever they need on board to make sure it's a win-win for all parties. Attraction so far is that we have matched a couple of retiring farmers. So this one here is over in Gippsland in Victoria, and it's a 69-hectare property. We're working with the retiring farmer couple who are keen to transition to people who love the land just as much as they do. They've selected out of all the farmers that have applied, and they've picked the farming couple, and we're on the farm the other day working through a 10-year farm transition model. There's another farm in central Victoria with a lovely couple who want to stay on the farm forever, but they know that they need to start transitioning ownership. Their kids don't want the farm, and everyone's happy with the idea of them with the next gen farmer who we've helped select to earn their way in to that farm. So it's a 3,500 acre property. It's a big property, and it's an exciting solution. And I was in touch with them the other day, and they're very excited with what's happening, and they're telling everybody about it, which is what we need, more people to know about what we're offering here. The other area that we're got traction is our first farm match with an investor and aspiring farming family. So Claire and Mark Coates run Freeland Pork, and they were leasing, and they pitched their farm investment along with 12 other farmers around Christmas last year. And we sat with an investor and went through every one of those proposals, and the investor, we filtered them all. The investor said, all right, which one do we go for out of those top ones? And we picked Claire and Mark, and 6 months later they're on farm in Kyabram, central Victoria, where they own half the business with the investor owns the land, and they'll be earning and saving to buy half the land off the investor. So it'll be a complete 50-50 split of ownership. And both parties are very, very excited with this. The investor's got an amazing entrepreneurial couple to work with. So our bigger vision and mission are here on this slide, but we're all about removing barriers, and we think most of the barriers to farm ownership or transitioning are mindsets. That is just having the right mindset and then having the ideas to be able to think about how to get on a farm and live your dream. So we're trying to remove those barriers. We think the biggest barrier to farm ownership is capital. They're expensive, and we're trying to remove that barrier through setting you up with relationships with people who can get you onto your farm. And our vision is that we want to rejuvenate regional Australia. We really do believe that is what is possible, and if we can eliminate that biggest barrier, we can get thousands of next-gen farmers back on the land. So I guess the business started when I was 8, I think. I was walking back from the dairy. This is the photo of me, it's my little brother in front of me, and in central Victoria, and I looked up to Dad as we were walking back from the dairy, and I said, so Dad, when do I get the farm? And he just laughed and said, you're not getting the farm. Mum and I are selling, and we're moving on. How else are we going to get the money out of this land to retire? And at age 8, I knew I'd never be a farmer. And so I went off and worked for the government until we finally come up with this idea of Cultivate Farms about 3 years ago with Tim and Teagan Hicks. And I've got a little bit of an alternative story coming up in a second around how I'd love to see 8-year-olds now think about farm ownership. So how does it work for aspiring farmers? We do 3 things. We give you hope, we get your farm ready, and then we match you onto your farm. a lot of what we're doing is around this concept of hope. No one has really ever said to you, you can own a farm. Most people think it's ridiculous. We're saying it is absolutely possible. It's just about knowing that you want it, and then we can help you find your pathway to own that farm. Now that you know you want to own it, there's a concept of farm ready. So are you out there working a farm job? Are you thinking about leasing and getting a lease and setting up a business, or so that you can then plonk that on another bit of land with an investor when you're matched? And then this third concept around matching. So it's once you're ready and once you're good enough, it's finding the retiring farmers and investors that you can work with to see if you can transition ownership to you. The lessons we've learnt over the last couple of years is that for aspiring farmers, that you have to treat this like being an entrepreneur. This is not easy. We're dealing with $1 million properties here, and you've got to show you're good enough. You've got to build relationships. This is about getting as many contacts as you can with retiring farmers, accountants, lawyers, many rich people as you can meet. Your family, no doubt, have money, but getting a big connection of people who could potentially help you onto your farm is the key thing. You've got to be able to demonstrate you're good enough. You've also got to be thinking of getting onto farms that are at the right price. There's probably farms that are well overpriced, and the investor is not going to back you onto something that is too much. And also, it's getting your mindset right. Do you really want this? We've got lots of opportunities on our website, and some people aren't applying for it because they haven't got their mindset right that they actually could move 200 k's away and get onto their dream farm. So we're finding they're the biggest barriers at the moment. So the alternate 8-year-old Sam, this is what I'm inspired by, is that the next time an 8-year-old gets told they're not getting the farm, this is what I'm hoping the journey will be. So this is me now. If I was 8 years old on the farm and Dad has just said I don't get the farm, I'd say, that's fine, Dad. I'm going to be a farmer anyway. And I just get hold of my dream and I know where I'm going. So all my friends and people say, what are you going to do when you're older? And I'll say, I'm going to own a 500-acre farm. I'm going to milk 700 cows. And then I'd start working at Mum and Dad's farm straight away, building my skills because I know I need to be the best. And I'd work for them for a number of years just for free, getting my skills up. And then after a while, I'd show the value and I'd start asking them for money. I'd say I want a cow or two and I want to build my assets that way. And then I'd still focus on school. I'd build my skills and get my knowledge. But between 4 o'clock and 10 o'clock every night, I'd be a farmer, building my knowledge. I would then start a little black book, and I'd get all the retirement age farmers I know in the district. I'd write them down and ask Mum and Dad for who they are. I'd meet them at the footy. I would get to know them over the years and figure out which are the best farmers and which are the ones that I reckon I'd be able to transition onto when I'm a bit older and keep building those relationships. I'd also be on Snapchat. I'll be there filming me every day on the tractor, whatever it is I'm doing, documenting my journey of farm ownership and telling people I'm going to own a farm. And I'd use that to create attention so that one day someone's going to say to me, Sam, you're the best. I want to back you onto my farm. I've been watching your journey for years. Let's do it. Because I think the power of social media is absolutely immense. By the time I was 15, I would have built relationships with the 2 best dairy farmers in the district who I knew were stepping back very soon. And I go work for them. I just show how good a worker I was and just work for a couple of years, working hard, still documenting my journey on Snapchat. And then one day when I'm ready, around 18, 19, 20, I pull a proposal together and I tell them how they're going to make a lot of money if I can transition ownership into the farm, that they can step back or do a tenth the work and double their profits because I'm going to take their business to the next level. We'd work out an arrangement and I'd be farming. It's that easy. And that's the sort of, I know that's an idealized case, but that's the sort of thing we want to get aspiring farmers thinking about, that you can own a farm. There are ways of doing it. You've got to treat this like being an entrepreneur. So for a retiring farmer, how it works is we want to get retiring farmers to think, are you open to sharing your farm with kids that aren't your own? And if you are, please come and contact us. And people are emailing us all the time. We get the farmers to write down their farm vision. We would then promote it, and we've got a number of farms on our website now. And people pitch to own that farm with you. You would then filter them and get about 3 farmers to come visit on the farm, the best that you think are coming through. You would sit and meet them probably 3 or 4 times on the farm until you're very confident that they're the ones, and you start working through a transition model, which will probably include employment for 12 months until it transitions into that ownership model. And you do it all at your own pace. But that's the sort of way we're operating with retiring farmers. And I guess the biggest lesson that we've learnt so far is this concept of sharing with kids that aren't your own. It's a very foreign concept, but there are people who get it and see the value in it and don't have the options of handing on to kids that are their own. and we're saying is a really great option. We can help find the best people for you and have a model where you get to retain ownership of your farm, which we think is really positive. And then investors. We're talking to investors and we get them to list their preferences. We are in the process now of getting farmers to pitch to them like we did for that first farm. But we're saying to investors, we can find you the best farms and best farmers all over Australia. Just tell us what you want and we'll bring it on a plate. We then get these farmers to pitch. We then get the investors and aspiring farmers to build a relationship, because this is a big deal, buying a farm. And they build a relationship over time. And then once they're happy that they can go ahead and start a business together, it's farm hunting time. And it's so powerful for the aspiring farmer to know that they've got an investor backing them. I just think that's really exciting. So that's our model with the investors. The lessons we've learned with investors that has to be about relationships. So we're trying to make sure that we're getting our aspiring farmers pumped up and getting them farm ready, and then saying this is about you finding the right people. So think about this as building relationships, demonstrating you can run a farm, and we use that to open doors to investors from all over the country who can back you. So that is it. We're really excited for the future of regional Australia. We are strongly advocating that a lot of the solutions that are available are just dependent on you wanting to grab them and your mindset. We think there are plenty of options out there, and we encourage anyone. If you've got a dream to be a farmer, you can own your farm, and we want to see thousands of next-gen farms back in the bush. Cheers.